Hello and welcome to the Friday Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic. This is the edition every week where I try and solve today's Times Cryptic crossword. And I will tell you that today's puzzle I will do with a mixture, I suspect, of joy and sadness, because this is the final puzzle that the Times will publish from the great Richard Rogan, who died a year ago this weekend coming, ridiculously out of his time. I mean, Richard is somebody I guess I'd known for 30 years, and just one of those people. I wouldn't meet Richard very often in a year, a couple of times a year, but every time you saw him, he was a delight to talk to. A charming, unassuming and brilliant man, so clever, but so, had every reason to be arrogant, and yet there wasn't a piece of arrogance in him. Just a lovely human being and a brilliant crossword writer. Oh my goodness me. I mean, we'll see it, I'm sure, in today's puzzle, but his clues are just, they're sensationally good. At the last year's Times Crossword Championship, there were a few who spoke. I particularly remember Dave Parfitt. It was really a very emotional thing to hear people reminisce about Richard. I mean, that was, I suppose, only a few months after his passing. But it is still such a shock. He is a great loss to the crossword world, and one of my favourite people in it. So rest in peace, dear friend, and I will try your puzzle in a moment or two's time. Right, now let me try and get my head back in the game. Let's check I've got a dictionary if I'm going to be doing this. And it's in the right place, good grief. Okay, that's good news. So I'm not going to use the dictionary to help me with the solve, but I'm going to use it to explain how to solve. The snitch rating, by the way, for this, which is the unofficial rating of the difficulty of the Times puzzle, is a bit harder than average. I mean, the Friday crossword tends to be the hardest of the week in the Times. I'm not sure whether that's the case this week, but it's certainly harder than average. But it's not a monster, thank goodness. Although I do like the monsters, but this is not meant to be a monster. It's about 20% harder than average, I think, when I checked the snitch this morning. Now, a couple of things I'll mention. I'll do a birthday. Arvi, it's your 22nd birthday today. Many happy returns. I do enjoy it when I get to do a birthday in the crossword video. You're working as an engineer, I believe, and you claim that in the last year you've learnt nearly as much doing your engineering job as you have from watching Cracking the Cryptic videos, which is very kind of you to say, and I hope you have a great birthday today, with, of course, lots and lots of chocolate cake. I will make mention of a couple of other small things. We're very nearly at the 1st of June. There is a brand new Sudoku competition. I know some of you crucive herbalists will be like, Sudoku? I don't want Sudoku mentioned in my crossword video. No, but there is, and it's a very, very good competition coming up on Patreon, so do check that out. And there are probably some amongst you who watched the Blueprints stream that Mark and I did last night. I will just mention that when I turned on my computer, when I awoke my computer this morning, because I send it to sleep, I realised that the game was still running and we hadn't ended the day. So I thought I'll just play on until the end of the day so we don't waste the steps. So I've done that and I've recorded it. I'll say no more, but that video will probably go on the channel tomorrow, if anyone shows any interest in it going on the channel. Otherwise, it will just remain on my computer. Anyway, that's all the news. Let's tuck in. Let's have a go at the Times Cryptic, and we will say, let's get cracking. Now, there we go. This is the last Times Cryptic compiled by the late Richard Rogan. 1 across. Groom at function stops one fighting. I mean, it's just brilliant. It's the first clue, and immediately you're thrown an image from the clue, and you have to throw these images away. So you can read them, you can take them in, you can smile at them, but then cast them aside, because none of that is going to be helpful. You don't want to think of the groom at the sort of wedding party stopping a fight. That will not help us. So remember, all of these clues contain a straightforward definition of the answer. So this is a 9-letter word, and the straightforward definition is almost always at the start or the end of the clue. So we might be looking for a 9-letter word that means groom, or we might be looking for what's a 9-letter word meaning fighting, or one fighting, like gladiator. Okay, I don't know the answer to this, but I am going to... Oh, I have nearly got it, I think. It's not attendant, is it? It might... I'm not sure. Okay, let me explain how my brain is sort of trying to pass the clue. I am suspicious. I think the answer might be a word for groom. Why do I think that? Well, it's this word stops. So I've told you that there's always a definition in the clue. You may say, well, what's the rest of the clue then? Well, the rest of the clue is a recipe for how to construct the answer. We call it wordplay, which is a short form of recipe, basically. So the constructor will tell you, how to. He might tell you to anagram letters. He might tell you to put one word into another. He might tell you to cut the end off a word and reverse it. But all of these things are basically instructions to give us the answer to this clue. And this word stops is interesting, because imagine you put a cork into a bottle. You might say the cork is stopping the bottle. So I'm wondering if this is function. I'm thinking mathematical function. I'm thinking sin, cos, tan. Stopping, so inside, a word for someone who's fighting. One fighting might be a soldier, or a warrior, or I'm trying to think of a better short synonym for somebody who's fighting. Scrapper. It's not shorter. But then I thought a groom is an attendant. And at there, what's at doing in the clue? So I'm just going to write attendant in and look at it, just stare at it for a moment. So at, and then function stops one fighting. A function. A function could be like a party, as in a do. One fighting. I don't know. I haven't got it. I'm having ideas about it, but none of them are very good, are they? Let's try one down. Spice combined with meat taken from sink. Spice combined with meat taken from sink. Okay, I mean, we have to apply all those same principles again. And they are not availing me. I don't know. This could be the name of a spice. Spice combined with meat. I mean, the recipe part of this, meat taken from sink, that makes me think of, if I could think of a word for sink, and I thought of the word scuttle. You see, and then if could you describe meat as a cut? You get a cut of meat, but I don't think meat and cut are synonymous. But if you could take cut out of scuttle. Yeah, it's not right, but that's the sort of way that the recipe might work. Okay, this is not going well. Let's try 6 across. Force pig out, and wipe floor with cloth. Force pig out. I mean, that seems to be suggesting you're sort of trying to push a pig out of your house or something. But let's try and read it differently. Force in physics is F, as in F equals ma, I want to say. Force equals mass times acceleration. So force might be the letter F. And then if you pig out, you sort of, you scoff, don't you? So if we cut the clue up a bit, we can get F for force, then a 4-letter word for pig out, and the whole thing might equal, and could be doing the duty of an equal sign. So it's saying force, and then a word for pig out is equal to wipe floor with cloth. Wipe floor with a cloth, I don't know, actually. Okay, can we justify an F in 6 down? Palm raised, ace admitted to blunders. Palm raised, ace admitted to blunders. Right, okay, I think I've got this. This isn't very easy at all. Okay. So again, we have to decide, what do we think the definition is here? Is it palm? Is it palm raised? Is there a 4-letter word that means raise your palm? Or is it blunders? Blunders does have a good short synonym that's 4 letters long, which is ers. To err is to blunder, E-R-R. So maybe you think that's the answer. It's not. We're actually looking here for a 4-letter word for a palm, and if you knew that, well done. Let's read the rest of it and try and read it as a recipe. First word is raised. Now this is a down clue. So the concept of things being raised in a down clue can indicate a reversal. Raise in an across clue could never do that, because it's not an instruction to reverse, is it? Whereas if you turn something upside down and it's a down answer, clearly that raising is performing the job of a reversal. So we might have to raise something. Ace admitted to blunders. Now, in a football context, an own goal is a blunder. So the blunders here we're looking for are OGs, OGS. Ace, as in ace in cards, can be abbreviated to A. So we admit A to the OGS and reverse it, because it's all raised, and that gives us sago, which I think is a type of palm. I mean, I accept that's quite ludicrous. That's very difficult, I think. Let's have a look. Sago. There you go. The sago palm. No, that's not easy, is it? Okay, so let's go. Oh, so my F is totally wrong here. Force pig out and wipe floor with cloth. I don't know. Let's try 10 across. At least we've got a G in it. Pressurized. Oh, I meant to do the remunerations. I'm so sorry. I'll try and remember. 3-4 this is. Pressurized bitter king, say to live with queen. Pressurized bitter king, say. Yes, okay, I've got this one. So again, you can probably imagine, Theoden on the throne at Rohan. He's under pressure and he's a bitter king. No. Forget all that. That's not going to help you. What you've got to do is cut the clue in the correct position. Pressurized bitter. Cut it. That is the definition that we're looking for here. Pressurized bitter. King can be K. Let's have a look at some of these abbreviations. So we had ace in the last one, didn't we? Let's just go and have a look at that. Any abbreviation, ace, there it is, has to be supported by the dictionary. You just can't, you can't look at the word live in this clue and say, oh, well, that's the equivalent of L. No, it's got to be an abbreviation that is in the dictionary. So king can be, where's the dictionary gone? King can be K, that's from cards. king in cards. There we go. Say. Well, that say is for example. How would we write the shortest form of for example? E.g. K. E.g. keg. If you live with somebody, to live is to be. And the queen here is our former queen. Elizabeth Regina, ER. So let's go to that. It's a very, very common abbreviation in cryptic crosswords there. Queen Elizabeth. So keg beer is the answer there. Let's have a look at 5 down where we've got a K. 6-3. Mimicry becoming fashionable. Mimicry. Yes, okay. So this is a kind of clue in which you've sort of got X equals Y. It's what's called a double definition. So there isn't really a recipe in this one. It's just we need a word that means mimicry, or a phrase that means mimicry, and we need a phrase that means becoming fashionable. And often double definitions will be signified by the length of the clue. If a clue is very short, so sometimes you'll even get 2-word clues, you know with a 2-word clue you're just going to find a word that means the first word and find a word that means the same word should mean the second word as well. So here, mimicry, if you taking off is what we're looking for. If you take off somebody, you mimic them. And if something is fashionable or becoming fashionable, it's taking off. It's starting to get a grip on the popular culture. Now, should we try the F? We've got an F in 16 across. 3, 6, okay, ending in F. So I already have an idea what this might be because I've seen sculpture at the end of the clue. Conviction for smuggling when found with head of Rodin sculpture. Oh, I thought this was going to be bas relief. Am I talking total nonsense? It must be. Hang on. I'm just going to put it in, and then we'll have a look. We'll try and work out why. Oh, conviction. Yes, you have conviction about something. You have a belief, don't you? So belief. Yeah, conviction for is belief. That is smuggling. So imagine you're smuggling something. You sort of keep it, cosseted, don't you? You give it a cuddle and don't show it to anybody. So the word for conviction for, which is belief, is surrounding a 2-letter word for when. That word is as. Found with the head of Rodin. So the as is found next to the head letter of the word Rodin, its initial, which is R. So as and R go into belief, and we get the sculpture, which is the bas relief. So we were lucky there because we had that F. That was fortunate. Let's try 14 down, where we've got 9 letters, 3rd letter B. Local allowed to retain second agent for promotions. Local. Okay, I might have got this, I'm not sure, but I have got it actually. Try and decide in your mind what you think the definition is in this clue. Do you think it's local? Do you think it's local allowed? Do you think it's promotions or agent for promotions? Now, I think what we're looking for here is a 9-letter word which is an agent for promotions. And the way I got that actually was looking at the other side of the clue, the word local. Now, colloquially, your local is your local pub, isn't it? Or bar or inn. Pub, inn, bar, all of these are useful short synonyms. But we've got this B, so it looks very like it's going to begin pub. If something is allowed, it's licit. And if that retains S, which is a valid abbreviation for second, I can never remember, is it S equals UT plus a half AT squared or something? One of Newton's laws. But let's have a look. It will be there. This is not a controversial abbreviation. Oh, now I can't find it. There we go, second. So, publicist, that's certainly somebody who would be an agent connected with promotions, as in adverts. Now, 14 down, publicist, that is splendid, because we get 4 more starting letters, starting with 14 across, beginning with P, 5 letters. Papers over the cracks, finally, in case of protests. Okay, so I'm not going to think too much about this, but I want to focus in and make sure you're all focusing in on the final 3 words of this clue. Case of protests. Now, if you have any experience of solving cryptic crossword clues at all, you should instantly be saying, well, case of protests, it's nothing to do with, lawyers having a case about protesting or anything like that. It's talking about the letters, the case of the word protests, the things that sort of surround it. So it's talking about the P, the initial P, and the final S. And you can see in case of protests. So that means in that P and that S. So all of this is pointing to the other side of the clue, being the definition. Papers, or papers over the cracks. Okay, so it's papers. It's really clever. I mean, this is classic Richard. Because when we read papers over the cracks, it's so easy to read that as a phrase. It just trips off the tongue, papers over the cracks. But you mustn't. You must cut the clue after the word papers. And then over the cracks, finally, is saying, take the final letters of the words over, the, and cracks, R, E, and S. Put them in the case of the word protests, and we get press. And the papers, of course, are the same as the press, the media. So nice and easy once we had the P at the start, and once we could understand how we had to read the recipe. Let's try 20 across, 4 letters beginning with I. Putting hotel on this island, on reflection, would be capital. I haven't got this yet, hang on. Putting hotel on this island, on reflection, would be capital. Okay, now this might be a very unusual clue. 90% of cryptic crossword clues, the definition is the start or the end of the clue. But this phrase in the middle of this clue, on this island, might mean that we're looking for a 4-letter island here. I was thinking my brain keeps coming back to Helsinki, which I don't think is right. So the way I read this clue is I think we need a 4-letter word for an island, and I'm thinking inch is a small island, as is maybe isle, I-S-L-E. Iona is an island as well, actually. I hadn't thought of that. Iona is right. Okay, and now I understand. So we're looking for the island of Iona. So knowing that, read the clue again and see if you can understand how it works. What's the recipe? How is the clue grammatically going to make sense? Now, I'll tell you that the international radio code word for H is hotel. So if we look under H here, actually I think if you look up hotel it'll do it. There we go. Hotel, a code word for the letter H. So this putting hotel on is saying put H on a 4-letter word for an island. And I've told you that's Iona. So you can, on reflection, so that's indicating then reverse it. So if you imagine there was an H at the end of this string of letters, I-O-N-A-H, and you reversed it, that would be Hanoi, which is a capital. So that's how it works. It's a very unusual clue. You won't see that very often at all. But the key, the critical thing there is the phrase "this island" in the middle of the clue. That's the hint that you're going to have to do something a bit different. Now let's try 17 down. 7 letters beginning with S. Hospital doctors beginning career as bloodsucker. Hospital doctors beginning career as bloodsucker. I mean, I should just be able to get that. Doctors beginning. Yeah, okay, I have got it. It's not okay. So again, make up your mind. Do you think that this is the name of a hospital, or a hospital doctor perhaps? Or a bloodsucker? Now, the way I solved this was that I can think of a 3-letter synonym for a hospital. And that's san. A san as in a sanatorium. So if we go and have a look at that, sanatorium. So I think that's suggesting that this is the start of the recipe. Hospital, san. Doctor's beginning. Now, doctor is a difficult word in cryptic crossword land because it has so many common abbreviations. Think of GP as a very obvious general practitioner. DR, very obviously. Things like MB as well, you sometimes see. MO for medical officer. But here it's none of those. Doctor's beginning. That is saying take the beginning of the word doctor. D. Now if you the way the clue is worded suggests that the doctor is beginning a career, as in a job. But if you career somewhere, the physical movement of careering is sort of going hell for leather in a particular direction. It's running somewhere very quickly. It's flying there. So if you career somewhere, you fly there. And a sandfly is something that will give you a bite on the beach, and it's a bloodsucker. So sandfly is what we need there. And that suggests this might be at the herb thyme, perhaps? Well, 5 letters, beginning with T. Perennial, coming together of solver historically, and setter. Yeah, okay. And a perennial plant, thyme must be a perennial plant. I didn't know that, but it must be. Because it's a coming together of the solver. So Richard as the constructor is referring to the solver in a historic way as thy, as in you, and the setter himself as me. So thy and me get together to give us the answer to that one. Now let's try this. Infidel, I'm thinking. Oh no, okay, but I can get this one. Figure, small one, in blazer. So again, it's just a lovely clue, because it makes you think of a pupil at a school, doesn't it? A small pupil wearing their blazer. It's got nothing to do with the answer. Okay, so make up your mind again. What do you think the definition is? Figure is interesting, because a figure could be a geometric figure, as in sort of a square or a polygon or something. But if you figure something out, if you calculate, you infer. And a small figure, a small one here, is saying, how would we abbreviate a word for a figure? That would be NO. Because NO is an abbreviation for the number of something. So figure is being used in 2 different ways there, both in a sort of calculate sense, and then with the small one reference, that's saying a small number, NO, and inferno is not talking about somebody wearing a blazer or a piece of clothing. Something that blazes is an inferno. There's a lot going on in these, isn't there? It's great. So 24 down. Let's have a look at this. 4 letters. Instructions for cutting cheese. Okay, again, make up your mind as to what you think the definition is here. And hopefully, if you're starting to think about the clues as recipes, you're looking at this phrase for cutting and wondering what that might mean. What happens if you cut a word? Now, in cryptic crossword lands, I mean, cutting could indicate insertion, but most often it means chop the last letter off. And this is interesting because by convention, it won't ever mean cut the first letter off, or I don't think I've ever seen it mean that. If you cut something in cryptic crossword land, you always chop its end off. So, can we think? Then you've got to decide, what we're cutting. Are we cutting a word for cheese, or are we cutting a word for instructions? But obviously, with blank R, blank E in the grid, 4 letters, you're probably all thinking of brie as a cheese. Good if you are, because if you give somebody a brief, you give them the instructions, don't you? And they get the brief gets cut, so we chop off the F and we get brie. And the southwest corner of the grid is complete. Well, virtually complete. Let's try 15 down. 225. Primary objective involves appeal to act independently. Okay, so I can do this one. And the way I did this one is to know this word appeal is what immediately jumped into my mind. Because in cryptic crossword land, again, it's a bit crossword easy, but if you, crossword ease as in ESE, by the way, a bit of crossword ease, appeal in cryptic crossword land is often referring to sex appeal. And if you have it, colloquially, you've got sort of sex appeal. Let's actually look at this. I think it does define it this way. Sex appeal. There you go. Personal magnetism. So appeal here immediately makes me think of it. Now, believe it or not, SA is an abbreviation of sex appeal that does come up from time to time as well. There. Look. I mean, where could that ever have been used? In what circumstance has that ever existed enough to get put in the dictionary? I don't know. But anyway, so that looks very like it's going there, doesn't it? Involves appeal. So something surrounds this word it. And then to act independently? Well, it looks like go it alone. I haven't actually figured out why it's that yet. Your primary objective is goal number 1. Goal 1 surrounds it, and then to act independently is to go it alone. Now we get a G at the start of this 9-letter one. Reason to corner rodent. Yeah, okay. One of my favourite films comes to mind. Punxsutawney Phil. That have given away the answer now. Okay, so a rodent here I think is going to be the groundhog. It is a great movie, actually. It is a great movie. I'm just thinking about, do I have a favourite bit of it? When he plays the piano, I really like that bit. Oh yeah, when he's the expert on the French poetry. Anyway, get your head back in the game, Simon. So how does it work from a recipe perspective? The rodent is the groundhog. If you have a reason to do something, you've got grounds to do it. So a ground is a reason. And then if you corner something, you sort of hog it to yourself, don't you? You keep it to yourself. So I think it's groundhog. And, well, we could go for 28 across because we have the starting letter. Let's give that a go. 9 letters beginning with E. Means to end abuse of power, need exit. Okay. I haven't quite got it. Oh, I've nearly got it. I understand what I'm being told to do. I just haven't done it. So, again, make up your mind. It's the whole key to solving these puzzles, not the whole key, but an awful lot of it, is being able to read it in a grammatical way that allows you to be fairly confident what the definition is. Because once you get better at cutting the clue in the correct position, you can start to read these recipes more efficiently. So, I mean, let's just cogitate on this one for a moment. I read this clue, and there's a part of me that knows it's an anagram. Why? I'm not exactly sure. I think it's the letters of the phrase need exit. There is some part of my brain that says the only reason that those letters are there is because they're necessary for anagram fodder. It just looks like an anagram. Now you may say, but hang on, need exit is 8 letters, but whereas the clue is 9. But immediately, some part of my brain says abuse of power. Well, abuse, if you give letters abuse, you might be being told to anagram them. So remember, when you have to anagram something in a cryptic crossword, the constructor has to tell you to anagram them. And typically they do that by using words that might be like jumble, mix. These would be very simple anagram indicators, but they can also be things about doing violence to the words, like the abuse of the words, or the abuse of the letters would imply that they're all jiggled about. Or this word here, I mean, this, I don't know whether this is an anagram, but hideous. That could be, if you treat letters in a hideous way, they could be anagrammed. New could be an anagram indicator. But let's go back to this one. So P can be power, again from physics. And so we add the P to need exit, and we abuse them. And that gives us our 9 letters of anagram fodder. So we need means to end. Means to end. Expedient, is it? Means to end. That feels like it's I think it's expedient. Something is expedient. It's a means to an end, isn't it? And I think it's the right anagram fodder. Yeah, I mean, I think that feels right. Let's actually look up expedient and see what it says. Means, well, a means suitable to an end. So it's fairly clear. Now we've got this one, 3-2, where the 2-letter word is clearly going to be up. So exercise to postpone retirement. Yeah, okay. So you see the question mark at the end of the clue. If you see a question mark at the end of a clue, it can have a variety of meanings. So I don't want to be prescriptive about this, but a common meaning is that you have to read whatever the question mark is applying to in a sort of punny way. So if you postpone retirement, Richard seems to be referring to somebody who was about to retire from work and then decided to stay on for a bit longer. Well, that's not what's going on here. If you retire to your bed of an evening, you turn in for the night, don't you? So this is postponing retirement, as in staying up. Now, if you stay up, you could sit up, couldn't you? If you sit up late at night, you would postpone retirement. Sorry about the aeroplane noise outside. And a sit-up is certainly a type of exercise one might do in the gym. So sit-up is what's required here. Now let's have a look at 21, where we've got 10 letters. Hideous, new and expensive metal chairs. Hideous, new and expensive metal chairs. I don't know what this is. I mean, what I will tell you is it's brilliantly worded. It's brilliantly worded. The phrase in the middle of that, expensive metal, makes me... I'm very keen to see gold or platinum or silver somehow used in this clue. Expensive metal chairs. If you chair something, what do? If you were a chairperson at a board meeting, you would run the thing. But I'm just wondering whether chairs could be used as some sort of position indicator. So could this be a 10-letter word that means hideous? New and expensive metal. Chairs. I don't know what this one is. I'm sorry, I can't do that one yet. Let's try and get some checking letters. So this one's 10 letters. Grandmama. That brings back memories. Grandmama is so taken with niece, ultimately. Grandmama is so taken with niece, ultimately. I don't know what this is. This is a very intriguing clue. It feels like it might have sort of an anagram going on, because grandmama is such a weird phrase. So I'm wondering if it's something to do with the letters of grandmama, which are 9 letters, plus the E, which is that niece ultimately is saying take the ultimate letter of the word niece. So is there some sort of grandmama? The grandmama has 3 A's in it. I don't know. I'm not sure. Grandmama could be your... I mean, but why would a grandmama be used instead of grandma if it was just cluing nan, for example? Grandmama. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. Shall we try? Let's try 26. We've got the starting letters. 7 letters beginning with T. Office work that's attractive with time off later. Yeah. Okay. So again, make up your minds. What do you think the definition is here? And if you are pretty sure you know what the definition is, how does the recipe work? Now, the phrase with time off, if we're thinking about that from a cryptic crossword perspective, what might that mean? Well, time, it won't surprise you to know, can be abbreviated to T. V equals U plus AT, another of Newton's laws of motion. So time and T should be very, very much linked in your brain. So if you take time off, it's basically saying take T out of something. Can we think of any words for office work that would fit this pattern? That's really the key to solving it, because if you come up with that word, it's not too difficult to work out how the recipe works for the rest of it. Office work, beginning with T, 7 letters. Temping is office work, isn't it? And if something is attractive, it's tempting, and that has T removed from it. And that T is sort of the later T of the 2 T's that could be removed in the word tempting. So temping is the answer. And oh look, so what's this? So now my grandmama one has this M. So it looks like it's ending MED. Anagrammed. Oh, that's brilliant. Is that right? Oh, goodness me, that's genius. Oh, that is genius. Good grief. Right. Okay, so now everything makes sense. Grandmama. So this is lovely. Okay, so I have gone to great pains in the video to say that, oh, there's always a definition in the clue, and it's almost always at the start or the end. Now, one exception to that rule, we've seen two exceptions so far. We saw the exception where the thing was in the middle. Which one was that? Was that, oh, I can't even remember now. Iona, which was Hanoi reverse. So we had one exception there. We've got another exception here. Now, this is the most special type of clue. This is what's called an and lit clue. And that's a clue where the entire clue operates as the definition of the answer we're going to enter. And the entire clue also acts as the recipe. So how does it work? Well, Grandmama is so taken with niece ultimately. It's if you anagram Grandmama and that is what it is. Grandmama is an anagram, if you combine it with of the word anagrammed. and of course, well, hopefully that explains it. So the recipe is take the letter E, the ultimate letter of niece, and add it to the letters of Grandmama, and that is your anagram fodder. But obviously the instruction, Grandmama is so taken with niece, is literally saying that is what those letters constitute. But the genius here, the true genius, is the fact that this clue, it conjures up an image which is so poignant, the Grandmama being so taken with the niece. That's something we could all imagine in a sort of family situation. That's a worldie, that one. Now, where should we go? We should go for this one. So 2-3 beginning with G. Date of exit. Yeah, okay. So I said earlier that sometimes very short clues could be double definitions. And I think that that's what's going on here. If you date somebody, what do? You go out with them, don't you? And if you exit from somewhere, you go out, literally. So some people would say this is a little bit naughty, because what's the word of doing in the clue? But I think it's fine. Well, that's the answer. 19 down. Okay, I've only read the first 3 words of this clue. 7 letters beginning with O. Opening in Oregon. Now, immediately cast from your mind the thoughts of a shop opening in Oregon or something like that. It's going to be nothing to do with that. Opening in Oregon is screaming, take the initial letter from the word Oregon. And that's going to be O. So immediately, if we wanted to sort of shortcut the solve, we could go to the end of the clue, because the end of the clue is going to be the definition here. Although, assuming to finish off there. Oh. Oh, no. Well, I'm not sure now. I think I know the answer. Oh dear. Oh dear. No, I've totally misled you. I mean, it's an outrage that I've misled you, because it just is. Okay. I'm so sorry. I mean, everything I've said is wrong. Everything I said would be right 99% of the time. In this instance, it's wrong. What we're looking for here is a 7-letter word that means opening. And that's constructed out of it is in Oregon. Now, I think if we look in the dictionary, we'll find that Oregon as a state can be abbreviated to OR. Which, I mean, don't worry too much about learning state abbreviations. There are some obvious ones, like Florida will be FL, and California, I think, is CA or CAL. But you won't be expected to have an encyclopedic knowledge of, you know, that Oregon is definitely OR. Just be aware it might well be. Assuming, if you said the word assuming you're around, we'll go out. Yeah? What that's basically saying is if you're around, we'll go out. So assuming is synonymous with if. And if you finish somebody off in America, as in kill them, you would ice them. Or if ice, and an orifice is an opening. Clever, isn't it? It's very clever. 23 down. 5 letters. Joint concert on the books. Yes. Okay. Right. Well, this gives us an opportunity to talk about books. Books can be B, I think. Well, certainly book can be B. It's not here, so I will look it up and let's have a look. Book. Okay, so book can be B. So be aware of that. But very often, if you see references to books in cryptic crosswords, it'll be talking about biblical books. So it's quite good to have an awareness for, you know, there's a book like Ruth, for example, because R-U, T and H are quite useful letters. But the most common abbreviation for books are NT and OT, the New Testament and Old Testament. So knowing that, if you didn't know that already, reread the clue. Joint concert on the books. So, if the books in question are the Old Testament, we need a short synonym for concert. That's going to be a gig. And a gigot is a joint of meat. So, like a gigot of lamb, I think you might get. Now let's have a look at 21 across again. So this is the hideous, new and expensive metal chairs. Hideous, new and expensive metal. Hideous. If something is hideous, it's sort of Simon-esque. It's deeply unattractive. It is eye-wateringly ugly. It's hideous. New and expensive metal chairs. Expensive metal. I'm not sure. I think it's a word that means hideous. It's the rest of it I'm struggling with. New, very likely to be N. I mean, new could be an anagram indicator, so it could be saying anagram the word and. If you had that thought, that's totally reasonable. But D-A-N at the start of this doesn't feel right, does it? So new and expensive metal. And then what's this word chairs doing? New and... Oh. No. Expensive metal. I'm trying to think of sort of an expensive metal that ends with ing. I'm not doing a very good job. No, I haven't got this at all. Okay, so let's go somewhere else and hope our subconscious can work on it. Let's try 12 across. 4 letters. None were in a hurry to see this port. Well, is Oran a port? Because if that was right, 0 ran would be a way of saying none were in a hurry. Nobody ran anywhere. 0 and 0 are very synonymous in cryptic crossword land. And then that could be fortnight, perhaps. Several days. That looks good, doesn't it? So 9 letters. Dictators engaged in chivalrous combat for several days. Yeah, so if you fought a knight, as in F-O-U-G-H-T, and you fought the knight who was the K-N-I-G-H-T, you would be engaged in chivalrous combat if you were around fighting knights in the Crusades. And the word dictator here is not saying, you know, Idi Amin is fighting the chivalrous combat. It's saying if somebody dictates something, it's something you would hear. So it's talking about a homophone. Fortnight, F-O-U-G-H-T, K-N-I-G-H-T, sounds the same as fortnight, as I've spelt it in the grid there, which is obviously a way of saying 2 weeks. So fortnight will be correct. It's not the game and not the spelling of the game. 7 down. Find uniform tight. 7 letters, sorry. Find uniform tight and ticklish on the outside. Okay, well let's go to this final 4 words. Ticklish on the outside. I think that's fairly clearly saying the outside letters of the word ticklish, which are T and H. So it's probably that construction. Find. If you find something, you unearth it. So how does it work? U for uniform. That's an abbreviation. If something is tight, it's near. That is a synonym. And then the ticklish on the outside. So unearth, and then what have we got here? Scuff or snuff. 5 letters, beginning with S. Force pig out and wipe floor with cloth. Stuff. Wipe floor with cloth. Force pig out. I'm just pig out if you stuff yourself, you pig. I'm wondering if somehow this is a triple definition. So is it, if stuff meant force and it meant to wipe the floor with cloth, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Force. Pig out. And wipe floor with cloth. I don't know, that's weird. I mean, I sort of want it to be stuff because it's got this, you know, because it does. If you pig out, you stuff yourself. But I do not know the other. If it was a triple definition, and it's very terrifying if you don't know 2 of the triple definition constituents. Force. I think I'll cogitate on that one. So we've done incredibly badly in the northwest. Where should we go for this? Should we try 2 down? 7 letters. Wonder how far one might go to keep up estate. How far one might go to keep up estate. I don't know, that estate question mark is interesting as well. Question mark can indicate Like here, estate question mark. I'm wondering if it's the word car, because an estate is an example of a car. It's a type of car. So I'm quite tempted to say this might begin with car, because it's keeping up the thing that estate is an example of. So wonder, car. If I have wonder for something, no. Okay, I'm wrong. It's more complicated. Okay. The word close to my heart, miracle. Miracle Sudoku was a good video that we did. Anyway, I think it's miracle. But this is harder. So a wonder is a miracle. How far one might go? Well, one might go a mile, I suppose. It's a unit of distance. And that keeps, so it surrounds an up, a reversal of the thing that estate is an example of, a reversal of car. That's really difficult. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I'm not unhappy to solve that cold, i.e. with only the E. I don't think that's a very easy clue. Attendant is wrong then. Groom at function stops one fighting. Groom. A groom is I don't know. Let's try 9. 7 letters. Problem in musical involving doctor's instrument. That's brilliant. Okay, so you have to know your musicals. How do you solve a problem like Maria? I'm not going to attempt to sing that. I haven't got the range. But I think from The Sound of Music, Maria was the problem in one of the songs. So the problem in the musical is Maria. And then involving doctors. Well, we talked earlier about the various abbreviations for doctors. I can't remember if I mentioned this one, but MB is certainly one. So marimba is a type of musical instrument. It's like a weird glockenspiel. In fact, let's look up what a marimba is. Marimba. An instrument resembling a xylophone, originally from Africa and now used especially in Latin American and jazz music. Yeah, so there we go. We've got marimba here. Now, let's have a look at one down. Oh, this was the spice combined with meat taken from sink. Spice. Cumin is a spice, isn't it? Combined with meat. Oh, I see. Good grief. That's really hard. So it is cumin. And there's a lot going on with this, actually. So the spice is cumin. Combined with is cum, C-U-M. And that you might have seen that as if you buy a share that's with the dividend attaching, it would be sort of cum dividend, C-U-M, combined with the dividend. So cum is combined with, and then the meat taken from sink is not talking about a word like scuttle and extracting a word for meat from it. It's saying take the meat of the word sink, take the heart of it, and the heart of the word sink is IN, and that gives cumin and explains the answer. That's very difficult. Now what's this? Nectarine? No, nectarine isn't long enough. 11 across. Putting new handle on a fine vase, maybe, after chip initially noted. Again, disregard the thoughts of the fine vase with the chip. It's not going to be about that. Putting new handle on makes me think, if you give something a handle, you name it. So I'm thinking putting new handle on is going to be sort of, nicknaming then. Yeah, it must be nicknaming. I don't know why yet, but it's going to be nicknaming. Putting new handle on, nicknaming. A fine vase, maybe. After chip initially noted. Hang on. I'm sure it's right. I just have to figure out why. Putting new handle on. A fine vase, maybe. Oh, a Ming. A Ming, as in a Ming vase. After chip initially noted. Oh, I see. So if you chip something, you nick it, N-I-C-K, and then initially noted is saying take the initial letter of the word noted, which is N. So you get nick, N, A, Ming, nicknaming. That's not easy to explain either. Okay, let's try 3 down, which is 10 letters. Rebuked. I was going to say no, but it's not remonstrated. Rebuked, eyed nod, trembling with shame. Okay, so this is an opportunity to see how good you are at spotting anagrams. Eyed nod, trembling with shame. So the word trembling, if letters quiver, they're sort of moving, aren't they? So this is the anagram indicator. And eyed nod with shame is saying take the letters of eyed nod, put them with shame, and anagram the whole lot. So that's the 10-letter anagram fodder to give rebuked, and it's going to be admonished. Now we'll try 4 down before we revisit our groom there. So 5 letters. Apprehension, as the Marines do it. Okay. So again, we've got this question mark here, which is very indicating this is very punny in this case. So if you have apprehension about something, you show alarm. And as the Marines do it, well, if I tell you that RM is a valid abbreviation for the Royal Marines, if you did something like the Marines did it, you would be doing it a la RM. and obviously, I mean, this is a nonsense phrase, a la RM, as in, you know, in the manner of in the French manner, a la. But obviously, it could be. And that's why the question mark is saying, you know, I'm being a bit mischievous here. Now, so what is this then? Groom. Comb. Oh no, I've got this wrong then. It's combatant, isn't it? Bobbins. Okay, combatant is the answer. So if you groom something, you comb it. So it's the word at, but it's the word at is that A and that T, because the mathematical function, which is tan in this case, is stopping the word at. So at is around the word tan. So I passed it incorrectly, but I forgive myself. And one fighting is the definition, combatant. And we're just left with these last 2, which we hope that my brain has been working on in the meantime. So we'll go to this one first. Force pig out and wipe floor with cloth. Force pig out. What? I mean, I'm terrified this is going to be the name, you know, sort of an 8-letter word for a force, and then you've got to take a synonym for pig out of it, like, because pig has some short synonyms like hog and sow. And wipe floor with cloth. Scuff? If you scuff something, do you wipe floor? A scuffle. Is that a force? No. Force. Force. Oh no, I'm going to look at the other one. 21 across. Hideous. Hideous, new and expensive metal chairs. I really want to solve this one because I sense this is genius, this one. Hideous. Absolutely. It's hideous. It's completely... what is this word? I don't know. New and expensive metal chairs. Sorry, I haven't got this, obviously. Hideous, new and expensive metal chairs. Nauseating. It must be nauseating. That fits. I have seating for chairs. Oh, I see. Right, I've got it. It's very clever. Right, new is N. Your expensive metal here is AU, which is the chemical symbol for gold. Which obviously is an expensive metal. And then chairs is seating. That's great. That's just great. I mean, I feel a bit stupid for not solving that more quickly, but I couldn't get out of my head the idea that chairs might be being used as a container indicator for some reason. But nauseating. Right. So again, we're on this one. Force pig out and wipe floor with cloth. And I'm sure if Richard is looking down, he's chuckling away at being able to completely bamboozle me. That we can't use. There's no sense of a pangram here, I'm afraid. I don't think there is. No, we definitely haven't got a Q or a J. So, force pig out and wipe floor with cloth. See, this is a problem because there's a lot of words that fit here. I mean, snuff, scuff. I think there's a word scurf, S-C-U-R-F. Stuff. Shuff. Force pig out. I just want to think about this. I don't want to get this wrong, and I fear I'm going to actually. I've got a horrible feeling. I think this means wipe floor with cloth. And I think it might be scuff. I don't know, but if it was scuff, why? Force pig out. I don't like this. I'm sure this is wrong. I'm not sure it's wrong, actually. Is it stuff? And if you force something, do you stuff it? I just don't think you do. I just don't think you do. I would accept in a triple definition not knowing one of the definitions, but to not know two of them, that's so terrible. Right, so I'm going to commit to the idea that I haven't figured this out yet. And I'm not just going to go for stuff. I'm going to look at my dictionary. Sorry, not my dictionary. I'm going to look at my keyboard. I'm just trying to think about, the letters that could go in. Force. Scuff. Pig out. And wipe floor with cloth. To wipe the floor with something, you just completely destroy it. Force pig out and wipe floor with. Floor with cloth. I don't know. I'm really confused by this. Force. I mean, if we did have to take a short word for a pig, a tam is a pig, isn't it? I think a tam is a type of pig. That might be totally wrong. A sow, a hog, hogs, hog stuff, hog. And wipe the floor with cloth. And if you scuff something, is that wiping the floor with something? I think you sort of scuff your trainers and things, don't you? It doesn't feel quite right again. Wipe floor with cloth. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know this. I think I'm going to have to go for something. Should we go for that? I'll go for stuff and hope it's some sort of weird triple definition. I don't think it is. I think I'm not having the right thought, but the video needs to end at some point today. So we'll submit that and we'll see whether Richard's... Oh, it's right. It's right. So is it a triple definition? It can't be. I think I've just not got it here. Right, so... Can I see anything that's very useful here? Stuff. Not seeing much that's any use. Oh, so there must be some... I could... Oh, cloth. Cloth, especially woolen. So maybe... Oh, it's not a quadruple definition, is it? Oh my goodness, right. Okay, if you pig out, you stuff. If you wipe the floor with someone, you stuff them, don't you? And then cloth apparently is defined by stuff. So all we've got to do is have force defined by stuff, and we're there. Is it there? To force, to crowd, to thrust in, bulge out by filling. I mean, it's got similar meanings, hasn't it? To practice taxidermy. I mean, I think it's a quadruple definition. That's really hard. It's really hard, but, it's a wonderful puzzle. I mean, it's a wonderful puzzle. Anagrammed, it was my favourite. 13 down. Grandmama is so taken with niece ultimately. That is just, that's so clever. That's so clever. The whole thing is wonderful. Now, we will say a fond goodbye to Richard. It's very sobering to think I might never do another Richard Rogan crossword puzzle. But let's have a quick look at the Times Quick Cryptic, which passed 3,000 this week. And I will try and race on this one. Let's see how we get on. Most ill-tempered priests opt to reform. As an anagram. Stroppiest, I think. Let's try and do these. Sun with string that is keen. Sloot sharp. Ernest talks to resettle venomous reptiles. Rattlesnakes, probably. Feels like it's an anagram. A father on church that's that one. Leader abandoning African land. Iberia. Wealth. That woman had. Love received by boy. Wealth. Shed load, I think. Difficult to take responsibility. Hard and shoulder. Rest on ship. Welcoming cruise on vacation. Recess, I think. Article or attaché. Probably article. Wipe out, erase, probably for yes. Hide exposed. Pelt, yes. Remove leads from dogs in Swiss cabin. Oh gosh. Remove leads from. Dislodge. I think it is that, actually. It is that. Liking sculpture primarily in taste. Athos. Yes. President locks spy chief in prison. Don't know. Section of fences supporting turning. Puss. Ring great omega. Fabulous girl regularly dances on air. Ariadne or something? I don't know. Help repair broken. Device connected to computer is a peripheral, I think. I can't type it. No. Get a spell. Must be. Yes. What's that one? Unclothed parts of legs. High thighs, I think. Oh, no. Is that Ariadne? Maybe it is. State, Hawaii. I feel like that's Hawaii without actually being able to see why. Fabulous girl regularly dances. Why do I think it's that? Regularly. I don't know, actually. Aria, DNE. It is that. Goodness, I was very slow. A vacated tycoon, I think. And then this one is come down from cedar and see ground. That's decrease. It's an anagram. And then this one, chair. Imprisoned chairman is what the answer is to that. Good clue that was. I probably got that right. I did. 9th. Not terrible. Yeah, so I think the first one there is a typist. Matthew Marcus coming in second. That is a real time. That's very, very fast on that puzzle. Under 2 minutes for that. I mean, that's really impressive because I didn't think that. I mean, some of that was a write-in, but like Liberia to Iberia, yeah, Matthew's going to get that instantly. But then dislodge that took some thinking about. Ariadne wasn't that easy, was it? I don't know. I don't know. It's just another example of my inabilities. It's so annoying. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. That puzzle was by Juji, and it was very good indeed. Yeah, thank you for watching a slightly poignant edition. Let me know in the comments how you got on with Richard's puzzle. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.